One day they're learning everything through English, and the next day they're learning everything through Chinese. So it's a very compelling model for a lot of parents.
Principal Sarah Harris says there are many advantages to learning Chinese at an early age.
Children really do soak up languages when they're young. They don't have a lot of preconceived ideas about language, and so they really come to it in a very kind of open way. Children we've been open for the past 6 weeks, and we've seen children just soaking up the language and applying it in more and more contexts.
Mary Schaffner, the school's founder, says that it's not just the students who want to learn Chinese.
We're going to start Chinese classes for our parents, which many parents have been chomping at the bit for.
With China's expanding global influence, millions are eager to learn the language. In 2004, only about 5,000 U.S. students between kindergarten and 12th grade took Chinese. Last year, that number had grown to nearly 50,000. And it's not just happening here. By 2010, it's estimated more than 100 million people worldwide will be studying Chinese as a second language. Many are learning at one of the more than 200 Confucius Institutes established by the Chinese government. Now in 66 countries, the goal of these institutes is to spread the Chinese language and culture. In Manila, Director Ellen Palanca says the popularity of these institutes is a sign of China's development.
Once a country becomes more developed, then it tries to promote its culture and language through such an arm.
More than 2,000 students have gone through the program since it started 2 years ago. Pia Lim Castillo uses Chinese in her job as a food and travel writer and says the learning experience helped her connect with her Chinese heritage.
It's my identity. I have to find my identity not only as a person but the culture that I belong to.
Many believe the ability to speak Chinese will advance their careers.
I see value in being able to converse in Mandarin to Chinese clients. So since there are more Chinese coming into the Philippines, I see there's market for a Chinese lawyer or a lawyer who can speak Chinese.
It is the country of the future also. Because of that, I think it is so important to learn Chinese because it is a lot of people talking Chinese right now.
Pearl Peril started learning the language at 8 years old while on a business trip with her father in Taiwan.
He don't have an interpreter, so he asked me if I can study so I could be his interpreter.
She and many of her classmates at the Quezon City Christian Academy in Manila say that knowing Chinese will be essential after they graduate.
I think learning Chinese will help me in my future career because my father wants me to be an interpreter and I want to learn more about Chinese culture.
Learning Chinese now would be a great help for me when applying jobs on other countries or here in the Philippines because China is now, like I said, expanding.
Halfway around the world in Panama, one legislator even proposed mandating Mandarin Chinese in public schools. But Fermin Tomas Chan, principal of a school where all students study Chinese, doesn't think the legislation will pass.
It's so hard to get teachers to teach Chinese outside of China. If you want to make it nationwide, it's going to be almost impossible to get enough teachers to teach. We have problems even in English here in Panama, so, what about Chinese?
Despite the difficulty finding qualified teachers, the school has a long wait list since so many Panamanians want to learn Chinese.
We all feel that in 10 years Mandarin will be as important worldwide as in English.
Others doubt that Chinese speakers will outnumber English speakers anytime soon.
It will most likely not replace English. It can be at par with the English language as an international language.
Whether or not Chinese does become the main international language, people worldwide